The first video our group chose is a clip from a show called Hell on Wheels that we think is a great example of rational persuasion. The show focuses on the story of a man named Cullen Bohannon. He is a Southerner who fought for the Confederates during the war. It starts out after the war with Cullen chasing down a group of Yankee soldiers who were the cause of his farm being burned down and his family being murdered. He has a list of names and chases who he believes to be the last soldier to a frontier town called Hell on Wheels. This town was created to house all the railroad workers working on the railroad, specifically the Union Pacific Railroad. While asking around town for the soldier, he ends up at gunpoint by one of the suspect's friends and ends up being saved by an African-American worker with a grudge. The murder was pinned on Cullen, and he refused to snitch on the man who saved his life. He ends up escaping his holding cell before the unofficial sheriff can hang him. The clip starts after this point of the show. Instead of running away, he decides to sneak into the railroad owner's, whose name is Durant, train car and try and get amnesty in exchange for taking the dead man's job, and explains why he's the perfect man for that specific job. He does this by using evidence and reasonable assumptions. He explains that he knows a lot about railroads because he used to destroy them in the war, and that he is used to fighting battles while outmanned and outgunned because that's what he used to do fighting the Yankees. We think that this is a great example of rational persuasion because he does not use threatening or ingratiating words to convince Durant, but uses totally logical thinking and a well-reasoned argument that you could not argue against from a factually correct standpoint.